Blame Truth here, the Codfather himself, bringing you guys another video. I have covered this quite a bit on the channel lately. It's been a hot topic in the entire community. And this all started because I've been playing this series so long, I know when something's off. This is something I just noticed out of the blue, and then other people started noticing it, and it's kind of taken off. There's some really fishy stuff going on, and let this video be the de facto, like 100%, as close as I can get to 100% proof that there are bots in this game, and they are manipulating our experience. It's gonna sound crazy, like tinfoil hack stuff, but I mean, if by the end of the video you're not convinced, then whatever. But if you guys could like this as well, I'd really appreciate it. I've been doing research all day. I've been playing because I wanted just to see something. And you're going to see what I'm talking about in a bit. I've also got examples from other people, but there's just stuff in this video that happened to me personally I simply cannot explain rationally. And the only explanation I can land on is that it's AI bots. It's what I thought it was when I first started this whole, rumor, I guess. I've been playing this series so long, I know when something's off. I've been playing this series since COD 4. Every single year, I'll pick up the game, and I noticed, some stuff was off. It started with this guy that joined my lobby when a player had left, and then just, died a bunch, and then left at the very end of the match when it's neck and neck, and we lost by 1 kill. I've been playing Call of Duty so long, I know that this is just not how players behave. Players do not do this. Then I had a match with this guy named Demon Juice that was, popping off, but he wasn't getting tags, and then we ended in a draw, but he had, 63 kills. Real people just don't play like this. I don't know what else to say other than they don't play like this. But let me explain what's going on here, because this is actually relevant. You're going to see that this game's kind of a blowout already, 46-6. So I reverse boosted, and all my gameplay going forward, by the way, will be reverse boosted. Let me explain how it works so you know what you're working with here. I'll explain in depth. I have a dummy account called BillyGoat57. I play like a potato. I play like my television's off on that account, and I play 5 matches, and I do terrible, and then that's it. And I never bother playing on that account again. Then whenever I search for a match with that account, I can session join with my main account, Jose Sacco here. And then I'll just back out BillyGoat57. Boom, easy lobby. So BillyGoat57 has a point 2 or 3 KD or something. It's low stats, right? So you're gonna match around that ballpark. You're gonna match with people around that ballpark. The people in this lobby, everyone in this lobby, is a BillyGoat57. They're just terrible. This is how reverse boosting works 95% of the time, I'd say. 95% of the time. Sometimes you'll get the occasional decent player. Maybe they've had just a really bad game and it's their sympathy lobby. But most of the time, the people you match up with are terrible. This is all relevant because this is going to lead to a bigger, broader topic here. So, in Modern Warfare 3, now I reverse boosted quite a bit in Modern Warfare 2, and a teensy bit in Cold War just to kind of test it out when it was new to me or whatever. Hey, Modern Warfare 2, I did it for about 2 or 3 weeks straight, so I know how it works. In Modern Warfare 3, something very weird's going on with it, though. You can reverse boost and do the BillyGoat57 method like I said earlier, but sometimes I notice that the matches are still really, really even and competitive, and it makes no sense. Yeah, I'm still popping off, but something's just wrong. I'm going to show you a gameplay after this one just so you can compare and contrast, and I did the same exact thing. I did the same exact method. Keep in mind, my SBMM algorithm is not taken into account when I do the BillyGoat57 method. I'm going to call it that. Whenever I join BillyGoat57, it's just not taken into account. I don't exist, essentially, in this lobby. But I truly do think, and this is going to sound crazy, I truly do think, and this is not even a tinfoil hat theory anymore, that bots are put into multiplayer, even in reverse boost lobby scenarios, to balance things out. And I mean, I got another game right after this one on Rust, and you're going to see the difference, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. And I could even show you, me matchmaking into the lobby. And there's also something really, really wrong with the Activision IDs. After this match happened, too, I went into my recent players list, and I found something that can only be described as scary, as frightening. And there's no explanation for it. I can't even begin to explain it. That body went flying, by the way. Did you see that? Anyway. I can't even begin to explain it. Let me just cut to it right now before I get into the evidence of what I'm talking about. And this is going to be clips. So this isn't like concrete evidence because people can just be bad, right? But these are clips I got off Twitter that people have shown me and tagged me and stuff like that in, and they're just, it's just odd. But let me just show you this first, because this is legit like horror movie stuff. It's legit like Black Mirror shit. So I had a match where I suspected I was in a lobby with bots. And I'll show you that match actually in just a bit. But anyway, I was going to my recent players to check and see if anything was amiss. And I was actually going to check their profiles, the ones that were in my lobby. And I saw something just so strange I can't even begin to explain it. First and foremost, you're going to see Percy. That's not the weird Percy that I think was a bot that joined me the other day. That is another account I have. I changed the name from I Love Doors to Demon Juice and then to Percy to see if I could make my Activision ID disappear. And I'll show you why I was doing that later. I was like, if I change it to a bot name, will it make the Activision ID go away? Because I can't find a way to actually make it go away. And you'll see why that's relevant in a bit. Anyway, I find this guy. Yeah, he has no name. He has no name. I can't explain this. I cannot explain this at all. I'm going through everybody else. Everyone has a name. This guy does not. I don't know who this was. Like, as far as my recent players go. I definitely played with them. It says last met 49 minutes ago or whatever. Like, I've personally never seen this. As long as I've been playing Call of Duty, I've never seen somebody in my recent players just not have a name. And I'm going to ask him, where's your name? I don't know if he's replied yet. I don't know. I haven't checked in several hours now, but it's about to get weirder. I'm going to go back after a little bit. I'm going to fast forward here, and you can tell it's the same person because of the whisper. I'm going to show it again. Same timestamps and all that. More of their information has disappeared since I sent this whisper. Look on the right there. It's no longer showing that they're playing with a controller. It's no longer showing that they're online, and it's no longer showing that they're on the Xbox network. You can go back just a few seconds ago and check it out if you don't believe me. Literally, the information is disappearing before my eyes. I don't know who this was that I played with. I don't know why their information's disappearing after I sent them a whisper. It is so fishy and so odd, and you can see me going through a bunch of players here, and everyone has names, you know? I was more concerned about the people I saw in a lobby that didn't have Activision IDs. I wanted to check after the fact to see if I could, like, see their Activision IDs, because as far as I know, and I went and checked on the Activision website, there's no way to take your Activision number ID off. Like, anymore. I think you could at a certain point in time or something, but you can't do it anymore. I think everybody's is supposed to show by default. That's going to be a clue. Remember that, okay? But you just can't take it away. That's why I was doing the whole, I'm going to change my second, like, Billy Goat 57 reverse boosting account. I'm going to change the name of it to supposed bot names to see if I could, I don't know. The theory was if I change it to these bot names, that's like a secret name that'll remove your Activision ID or something. I don't know. Anyway, guys, please, someone explain that. So weird. But that's not all. There are a bunch of clips, and I mean a bunch of clips of weird behavior. And this isn't behavior like, oh, this is just some noob running around, he's getting shot, he's dying or whatever. This, all these matches, I mean, here's the thing, man. I'm doing the reverse boosting thing, right? It's pretty common to see some really bad players. You're not going to see them act like this. These are players in higher end lobbies because a lot of people sending these clips are in pretty close matches and they're pretty good. One is actually from Rara, who is a pretty good player. I'm going to show that in just a second. But just keep in mind here, I'm actually showing this gameplay, and I went so far in depth in the beginning because I really want you to see what bad players look like. I want you to see what reverse boosted lobbies look like and how they play out. Like, everybody in this match, yeah, they're bad, but you can tell they're, like, just bad players. You know what I mean? Like, you can just tell they're bad people. They have no real game awareness. They're just kind of running around like chickens with their heads cut off or whatever. And as you can see here at the end of the match, everyone has an Activision ID. I would say 95% of the people I run into in this match, or in this game, Modern Warfare 3, I mean, have Activision IDs at the end of their name here. Again, keep that in mind. That's going to be very important because I think I kind of cracked the code, so to speak. So we're going to move into the next gameplay after some clips. I'm going to show you guys some clips of just very odd behavior that I got off Twitter. Here we go. All right, so this one, again, these are real matches, and they're close matches. I want you to keep that in mind here because this is when I think they show up. It's a close match, right? They're losing by just a few kills. And then there's this enemy here that is doing nothing. Yeah. It's like they're there to make the matches as close as possible. This is from somebody else. This is not from Rah. This is a different Rust game. Again, a super close match. Look, on the left there. Very close match. And there's this guy just running around. I'm convinced that most of the time, the bots are either doing this or they're just melting you or the opposition or whatever to make the games as close as humanly possible. This guy saw something a bit different. So he zooms in and you can see like the skin change on this guy as he's moving. He comes back around. This is in Ground War. And now he's got a red skin on and it was white. It's just super, super odd. So this is part 2 of, I guess, the evidence. So maybe you didn't believe the clips there. That could be just bad players, people goofing off, whatever. You know, that could be anything. Maybe the stuff I showed you at the start is just some weird, horrifying, odd glitch, okay? So I'm going to show you this gameplay. This is a dead even match that I reverse boosted into using the same method as the first match here. We know skill-based matchmaking is a thing, and we know that players are bad when you reverse boost, right? So these guys are pretty bad that I'm facing, yet they are flag like jumping psychopaths. These guys played the objective better than any noobs I have ever seen, and this is not an uncommon thing that I notice whenever I reverse boost. I've remarked a few times, I'm like, man, it's crazy how close these matches can be sometimes, even when I reverse boost. Logic would dictate that the matches would not be very close at all, even with team balancing, because I'm just carrying so much of the load. Like, I'm head and shoulders above everyone else in the lobby. So, like I said, logic would dictate that, you know, I'm going to be making up the difference between this even match beforehand. Before I join the lobby, I mean. But this is just, I don't know, man. This is odd. This is what made me go to my recent players and check things again. Yes, these guys aren't very good. Yes, I can kill them pretty easily. But man, they are hopping on flags and playing the objective like crazy. It's insane. I'm not taking it that seriously. I'm mainly trying to level my Riveter. So I'm not like diving on the flags or anything. But I noticed at a certain point, I'm like, well, we do need to win. I'm going to set this sentry gun up, looking over at B or whatever. And this happens occasionally when I reverse boost. It's like I'm reverse boosting and the players are bad, but there's some sort of X factor, and the game tries its hardest to make it as even as possible. Like, the game wants the match to be as even as possible. It does not like blowout matches, you know? Like, if I have one, that first match happened before this one, by the way. It's like, there's something in the game that detects that, and then it's just like, no, it doesn't matter if you're in an easy lobby. We're gonna make this as close as possible. And that's why I think that there's bots. Like, if people leave, I think that's when the bots come into play. I think that the bots may have something coded into them where, like, their stuff will gradually disappear, like their Activision number IDs at the end of their names or something like that, or whatever, so you can't look them up. I know that some people have seen bots, like Demon Juice, for example, I think had an Activision number ID, and that could just be like a guy. Like, it's so hard to tell what's actually going on here. It's a sad state we're in. I sound insane probably to some people, but like I'm showing you that this is not like a normal reverse boost lobby. Yes, I am doing well, but why is it so hard to win? I wouldn't be doing as well if I was diving onto the flags and stuff like that, you know? I noticed that whenever I would get an Overwatch Helo this match, and I have the full gameplay, you know, I might upload this, the whole thing, if you want to see the whole thing, but whenever I get an Overwatch Helo, it would go down instantly. Like these noobs, as bad as they are, would just take out my streaks constantly, you know? It's just, I don't know, man. Something is not right. And maybe you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, BT, this doesn't really prove anything. Like, yeah, they're noobs, but noobs can play the objective and go for the win. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But I want you to look at just the lack of the numbers at the end of certain names here. DJ Great Dame, Bob Berkey, and 100 Poker Chips on my team. It's like these are not real people, and their sole objective is to make this match as close as possible. But I'm not done. Take a look at this. These are the Steam achievements for Modern Warfare 3. I showed you guys the player numbers for Modern Warfare 3, and those are integrated with Warzone and stuff, and you know, Modern Warfare 2 as well. But look at these achievements. These are the global Steam achievements. Something is way off. I don't think this game sold very well. I really don't. But this is so bizarre to me. The global achievements, what the numbers mean on the right there are the percentage of players that reach level 55 and then like actually beat the campaign. The campaign's 3 hours long. It's not hard to beat. Only 9.5% of the player base has beaten the campaign. That's really odd. I mean, okay, I didn't play the campaign, but what's super weird is if you're playing the multiplayer, I mean, they just had a double XP weekend, and I haven't really played that much, and I'm level 55 now. Only 2.2% of the player base reached level 55. Either this game was like mass refunded, or it's sold way worse than we thought, or maybe there are accounts there that aren't getting these achievements or aren't factoring into these achievements or whatever that may not be human. And finally, the last bit of evidence I can give you, I can't give you evidence that is more damning here. Like, if you believed nothing else, take a look at this. So Froyo on Twitter tweeted me this a few days ago, and it's the most interesting thing I've ever seen. And I think this just should put every theory to rest here, okay? Froyo says, I'll just show you the smoking gun here. First of all, Activision, like many companies, needs to patent their intellectual property, which if you have some time, you'll find some insanely egregious psychological traps they've created to make players feel like shit. And he links me these patents here. And I've covered the patents before, but, you know, they're out there. Look them up. He says, the patent and the application for use of AI bots in multiplayer lobbies, mimicking player playstyles in current matches to match their skill level. Then he says, these bots will actually find every variable in playstyle, skill, movement, etc. to create lifelike AI NPCs. They even mention these AI NPCs mimicking players who leave a match early, copying their playstyle as if they never left. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm assuming they don't want to talk about SBMM because the SBMM now centers around these AI bots. And possibly, since they haven't mentioned AI bots filling their lobbies anywhere, it could possibly lead to a class action for misleading players. But it gets worse. He says both the patent and application for the patent were filed in December 2019. Both the patent and the application were officially patented in June and July 2023. Coincidence, right before Modern Warfare 3. And then he says, end of thread. And we're going to enlarge this and just read it verbatim here, okay? It says, in some embodiments, NPCs created in NPC application 120 are styled by NPC Profile Engine 126 to resemble their corresponding human players in terms of both player profile attributes and gameplay actions, such that players may not recognize NPCs as non-human computer-controlled players. Yeah. You can read the rest. It's just a bunch of jargon. But basically, guys, if this doesn't prove it, I don't know what will. I reverse boosted in Modern Warfare 2, and I'm telling you right now, the matches were not like this. They just were not like what I just showed you. And I can show you that whole raw recording if you want to, see me reverse boosting into the lobby. If you don't believe me or whatever, I can show you the whole recording to show you what I'm talking about. Matches should not be this close when I'm reverse boosting into lobbies with terrible players. The players remain overall terrible, yet the matches are close. It's like my team is worse, or there's like maybe one player that will just do something sketchy, or they play the objective super well, or my streaks go down in record time. Like it's stuff just... It's just like the game does not want any blowout matches. It wants to keep things as even as possible. And we've covered packet burst, possibly, most likely, being related to skill-based matchmaking. We know that it affects ping. We know that for a fact, 100% a fact. It's not even debatable. I don't know when Call of Duty became this like science experiment, but I don't like it. And I'm going to end this video with one of the weirdest deaths I have ever seen. Tell me this isn't rigged. Tell me what the hell happened. This is not physics. This is not math. I don't understand it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.
Do some parting advice.